This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Audible.com. Coming up on Destructoid, I have returned from the Far East with silks and spices and tales about PAX East. We've got some new Borderlands 2 details, and it looks like Torchlight 2 will be competing with Diablo 3. All that and more right now on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Welcome back, Max.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you. It's so good to be back.
You look weathered.
I feel like I got beat up by a convention center and cold weather and some nerd germs.
Were you making out with Hamza again?
Little bit. That Hamza.
How was your weekend, though?
It was really good. I had a great time. We're gonna get to that later. We're gonna talk about PAX.
We're gonna talk about PAX.
There's so much to talk about. I shouldn't be here right now. I should be like under a pile of hot water bottles and medicine pills. Don't touch me.
There.
Don't touch me. I'm patient zero right now. I have the PAX AIDS and the nerd flu.
All right. Well, I'm glad to have you back, Max. As for you guys, we noticed a lot of comments from you over the weekend wondering if we were going to cover certain games at PAX, specifically Borderlands 2 and Max Payne 3. So to address those questions and some others, Anthony made a neat little video that just wraps up all the coverage that he and Max did this weekend. And there's links to everything in there. We just buried Anthony in annotations on this video. You can find that on Rev3 Games, and it's got, I guess, a pretty comprehensive list of things you guys have done so far. There might be one or two videos still coming.
Yeah, we've got some stuff in the works. There's some stuff that we did there that we're going to make videos about later. That we'll keep you posted.
It'll keep on rolling.
But yeah, while we're talking about this, a quick word of clarification about the two channels. It seems like there's some confusion about the distinction between Dtoid and Rev3 Games and why you should subscribe to both. So just to clarify, on the Dtoid channel, you will find us doing our studio episodes plus occasional previews and reviews in conjunction with Destructoid.com. And on Rev3 Games, you will find Casual Friday top fives, let's plays, previews, reviews, and more random stuff, and as well as Anthony and our other friends around the office as we do our things. For events like PAX and E3, we're trying to combine our coverage, so you only have to visit one channel to see all our videos. But for regular weeks, that's how it breaks down, and you should just subscribe to both because that's the nice thing to do.
Yep. So obviously there are some things that we didn't have time to cover at PAX. For example, there's usually a lot of good tidbits that come out of the panels. And this year was no exception. At Gearbox's panel on Sunday, Randy Pitchford announced a new character class for Borderlands 2, the Mechromancer. It's set to release a couple months after the game as post-launch DLC. She's actually like a human-machine hybrid, and she's got a big robot companion named D374TP, or Death Trap, as you would pronounce it in Leet speak. And based on the concept art that they showed, she looks kind of like a steampunk Pippi Longstocking crossed with Edward Scissorhands. She's got like a weird robotic arm. So yeah, that's really all we know about her for now. The Mechromancer class will be available to everyone after launch, but those of you who pre-ordered the game will get it for free, so there's your incentive. Some other newsworthy items at the Borderlands 2 panel include character customization, so you're going to be able to earn special costumes and gear when you complete missions and challenges, and anyone who played the first game will get an exclusive head and skin for each character class. Last but not least, they announced a special edition of Borderlands 2, which normally I don't care about special editions because I think they're overpriced and lame, but holy shit, it's a loot box! Like, it's a replica of the loot box for Borderlands, and that is fucking awesome and gigantic. And that's priced at $150, which seems reasonable for an awesome loot box. And it includes like a Marcus bobblehead, the game obviously, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So Mikey Newman, if you're watching this, call me, because I want one of those.
Yeah, actually, I ran into Mikey on Sunday right before the Borderlands panel, and he was telling me that I should go to it, and he told me that I didn't want to miss it. I should not miss it at all, but I missed it because I was actually checking out Super Time Force, which is the latest from Cappy Games, the guys who did Sword and Sorcery. I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about it because a lot of outlets were picking it as their pick of the show. They had little stickers all over the booth just from people liking it. It bears repeating though, the game is awesome. It's sort of like if you took the time control elements from Braid and then the ghost mode of your different deaths from Super Meat Boy, and then put them in the most adorable and well-written Contra game ever. And basically you get like 30 lives, and after you die, you replay the level alongside your previous playthroughs, and they will kill the same enemies they did in their original run. So sort of you make dying into a functional game mechanic. So you are the time force that is super. But yeah, what's worth mentioning is that this gorgeous playable demo that was on the floor that everyone was madly in love with was only 4 months into development. I briefly spoke with Nathan Vella from Cappy, and when I asked about the number of characters in the game, he said that while there are 4 playable right now, they are looking at maybe having 10 or 15. Anthony did an interview with Ken Young from Cappy, and he actually hinted that there were most likely, possibly hinted strongly that there would be a ninja character who was able to jump off of walls and stuff, so that's cool. But just overall the game looks really neat, and I think people should pay attention to it.
I heard a lot of good publicity about this one.
Yeah. No, it's rad. It's super.
Yep.
It's a force of super time, so that's good.
Well done. So moving on, we are inching ever closer to Diablo 3's May 15th release date. So some of you have probably been wondering where the hell Torchlight is, because I have for like 8 months now. And Runic wants us to know, and everyone else, that it is coming very soon. They still don't have a date yet, but it is very, very soon. The CEO of Runic Games actually said in an interview with Joystick recently that ideally they'd like to launch about a month after Diablo 3, so mid-June. That way they can establish themselves as the less expensive alternative at $20, that'll be the price, while still offering features that Diablo doesn't, like an offline mode, LAN support, the ability to mod, and a distinct style of pacing. They were showing it off at PAX this weekend, but Max and Zach didn't get a chance to see it. However, Joshua DeRoche did, so go read his full preview over on Destructoid.com. And yeah, there you go. 2 PC games to look forward to over the next couple months. And according to the internet, we might be getting a 3rd in August when Dark Souls finally launches for PC. That's right. Round of applause.
Oh, so many games.
Nothing's actually been officially confirmed by Namco yet, but this picture of the cover of next month's PC Action magazine surfaced yesterday, revealing that the Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition will be out this August. According to NeoGAF, the game will be a straight port of the console version, but it will offer 2 new bosses and gamepad support. So there you go.
Wonderful.
The power of change.
Yes.
And petitions.
Good stuff.
Now stop writing petitions.
Okay.
I'm sick of having to report on them.
Let's take a word from our sponsor, Tara.
Let's do that. Obviously, you guys like video games, but if you're really into books, then you ought to check out audible.com. They are the #1 online provider of digital audiobooks, and they've got tons of titles in just about every genre you can imagine. Say you want to read The Hunger Games, but you're too embarrassed to let any of your bros know. Not a problem. Just download it onto your phone. Then you can listen at the gym while you're blasting your pecs and pounding protein shakes, and no one has to know. It's literally the perfect crime, you guys.
It's not even a crime.
Yeah, it's a crime.
It's perfect.
In a lot of circles. Not only that, anyone who visits audiblepodcast.com/Destructoid can get a free audiobook of their choice just for signing up. Again, that website is audiblepodcast.com/Destructoid for a free audiobook of your choice.
If you guys are into smart, high-tech shit, you should check out some of William Gibson's books. Audible has most of them, almost all of them, including his latest, which is Distrust That Particular Flavor, which is a collection of nonfiction pieces about like futurism and the internet and cool stuff like that. That just came out in paper form like a few months ago. And if you want something a little more fantastic, Audible also has his sci-fi masterpiece, Neuromancer, which everyone should read, period. Always,
Max,
forever.
you're so smart.
I like books because they have words inside of them.
Yes. So, we talked a lot about PAX. What are your what was the best thing you saw? What was your highlight?
My knee-jerk reaction to this, obviously I saw a lot of stuff at PAX. There's a lot to take in. It's kind of an overload.
Yeah.
My knee-jerk reaction as far as games go is Aliens, Colonial Marines.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That game is really, really cool. I mean, it's going to be awesome. And it's also going to scare the piss out of me and then into my pants, and then it's going to scare the pants off of me, and then I'm just going to be sitting there covered in urine with no pants on. But aliens, so there you go. That's a cool thing.
You make a good point,
that's great.
aliens.
But really, when it comes down to it, is the thing about PAX that's amazing is that people go to it for fun. You know,
Yeah.
E3 is a trade show. It is business at its core. GDC is for game developers. It's a conference, and it's again sort of business-like. PAX is for fans. PAX is a fun thing. It's a thing that people do because they enjoy it. Obviously, I have the coolest job in the world, and I love it to death. But you know, sometimes I go home and I'm tired because it's still a job. And you know, sometimes I get sick of video games. But when you're in a huge room just full of people who are smiling and laughing and excited about games, it really does put things in perspective.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of you guys came up and said hi to me, and I even got to go hang out with some of you, which is really fun for me. And meeting people who watch this show and are excited about it and tell me that it has the exact opposite effect on my soul than reading shitty comments on YouTube does. So that's really cool. And I thank all of you guys for coming up and saying hi. And but yeah, there was a ton of stuff. It's fun, but it's really,
is-
it's the overall experience,
Yeah.
and I will say that for every PAX probably.
I've
because
never been to a PAX East, only to PAX Prime, but it's definitely my favorite of the conventions. Nobody's really afraid to come up and talk to you, you know. You don't feel like weird. You're not around a bunch of like stiff people, you know,
I
just
don't know,
spouting
some
like
of them,
PR.
around the Lollipop Chainsaw booth, a few people were kind of stiff, but hey-oh!
Oh!
The boners.
Because of the tits.
Right.
The
And
tits. Obviously, I was not there, so I didn't get to check out any of the games. But I saw Anthony's video that he did on bit.trip Runner 2. I was super impressed by that. It's kind of taken a style similar to Wind Up Night. Like same basic idea, but just 3D now with a few more maneuvers. There's like some loop-de-loops and stuff. So that's really cool.
What I thought was funny about that is, and Anthony was saying this too, is that they, you know, the guys at Gaijin Games, they built up this huge kind of just like very core indie following who were like, oh yeah, very, you know, the pixels and the art
Right.
style, and they just were like, they just made it kind of, they completely flipped the style, and it's still fun.
Yeah,
still fun.
it's not the like 8-bit anymore,
Yeah.
which is kind of charming. I actually prefer the old art style better, but I don't blame them for going in this direction because how do you make a sequel to a game like that without, you know, like what do you add that really changes it enough?
No, it looks really cool. You know.
And obviously Aliens looked amazing.
Yeah.
I was sitting there watching your video.
You're gonna
just-
pee all over yourself, Tara.
yeah, peeing all over myself.
So as far as the big letdowns, though, this is always the thing that needs to be addressed. I'm gonna say Far Cry 3, but let me break this down. Ubisoft had an awesome, gigantic booth, because they always do. They actually had like 2 booths, and they had a ton of stuff to show off. Ubisoft always has the loudest booths at every show I go to, and I don't know why that is.
Mr. Caffeine.
It's just the loudest. They just have their
Even if
speakers
he's
turned
not
up.
there,
Yeah.
his voice is just projected like into your brain.
It was just like you can't have a conversation either, and everyone's loud, so it's just dumb. But they were showing off, you know, Ghost Recon Future Soldier, Assassin's Creed 3, Far Cry. We would have covered Assassin's Creed 3, except it was the same stuff we already told you guys about a few weeks ago, and hopefully Ubisoft actually releases some gameplay to the public soon because it's really awesome and everyone should see it. But anyway, back to Far Cry. I love Far Cry 2. And from what I can tell, Far Cry 3 is taking Far Cry 2, pumping it full of psychedelic drugs, giving it a mohawk, and sending it on vacation on a tropical island full of Komodo dragons and stabbable wild pigs. Unfortunately, what Ubisoft had on display at PAX East was the multiplayer component, which, yes, it looked gorgeous, but from what I could tell, it really didn't bring anything new to the table. It was domination mode, where 2 teams tried to control all points on a map. There were some zip lines you could ride, but mostly it was just guns and shooting at dudes with the guns. And I mean, obviously, I'm not a big person into first-person shooters, but I also ran into Destructoid's Hamza Aziz, who is, and he was equally unimpressed. On top of that, there were constant technical difficulties. I saw them having to just sort of reset things a number of times. And when Anthony and I played the game, both of our screens went black before the match was even over. So I'm still really stoked about Far Cry 3, the game itself, but I just feel like Ubisoft could have put a better foot forward than just a mediocre multiplayer component that didn't run smoothly. And then, you know, on top of that, they were also giving out free mohawks and tribal tattoos, which was just really weird.
And you said some people were getting some.
Yeah, I saw some tattoos getting did.
Man, what I wouldn't give to interview one of those people about their life decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's disappointing to hear. I don't know why games like this choose to show off multiplayer first. I don't know if it's because they feel like single player is not polished enough, but obviously that was.
I think it's because it involves it has the most kind of a social element to it, and when you've got people waiting in line, they just
It's
get
always
everyone
the
in there.
least
and they all play
interesting
it.
part to me of most games. But that is disappointing to hear. But it's also the first time they showed, like they actually let people play the game.
Yeah,
so
it looks gorgeous and it's gonna be cool.
yeah.
But you know.
So yeah. Well, while you were off gallivanting in Boston this weekend, the girls, actually the ladies, the lovely ladies of
my.
Revision 3, we got together and did a special girls-only episode of Casual Friday where we talk about all manner of things related to girl gaming. But the hot topic was Maxim's Girl Gamer Competition, which is still going on right now. You guys might have heard of it.
Oh boy.
If you want to see our episode of Casual Friday, you can check that out at youtube.com/rev3games. I suggest you do. It's
actually had
interesting to get a lady's perspective.
I had a great time. My girlfriend was with me at PAX, and the whole time I would just, every time I wanted to bug her, I'd just be like, oh my god, are you a girl gamer? And she got sick of that real quick.
Yeah.
Before we go, we got a quick contest reminder. In case you have not heard, the Destructoid show, that is this one, is giving away 5 copies of Alan Wake Collector's Edition for PC. All you need to do to win is to make sure you're subscribed to Rev3 Games and then go comment on our Alan Wake unboxing video we did. That is it. That is the whole contest. It is US only, and you guys have until Wednesday to submit your comments, so just go do that. And while you're at it, you should follow us on Twitter. I'm at Max Scoville, and she's at Tara Longus, and together we are the @DToid Show. And my avatar has me standing in front of a giant pizza, and there is the Destructoid Man in front of brownies. What
And I
food
love
will you
cookies.
be? You have you have Cookie Monsters.
Monster.
Anyway,
There you
I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna drink a bottle of NyQuil. We will see you guys on Wednesday.
Good night.